We have been able to actually uncover what was holding him back in his relationships and turn that around. Other client that I have worked with, she came to me. She had actually been married for past 20 years, but basically she just said to me, you know, Eugina, this is the last chance, or I'm filing for divorce. I was trying to file for divorce last year, but my husband asked me to give us a last chance. I just don't feel that our communication is on the level that he can give me what I want in our sexual life. I feel that we don't understand each other. And I decided to give it a go and give the last chance and just see what happens. So it has, and we worked with this woman for 3 months, and they never had a better relationships in their life after these 3 months. So these are the examples of the people that come to me that would like to up level and upgrade their private life, right? So, and I can tell you, in the past 3 years, I have seen so many scenarios of people who are looking for their happiness and actually feel a bit stuck. So if you have ever felt a bit stuck in your private relationships, you can just like comment yes below in the chat box and just actually yeah, so that we know that we are on the same page, you know. So it's like I would love to make this as interactive as possible. So I'm just gonna keep going because the time is quite limited, but please, if you have got any questions, or if you want to make a comment, or yeah, just please do so, right? So through this work that I'm doing, I have discovered 3 major things that stopping people in their love, intimacy, and sensuality, right? And the number 1 thing, that we all have an old story. We have, like, when we were growing up, we were experiencing world through our parents or modeling their relationships. We were experiencing and learning ways of relating through our parents. And in most cases, the ways of relating through parents is not very, what the word I'm looking for? It's not very healthy, to say the least. Okay, I know certainly my parents, they didn't have a healthy way of relating. My parents were alcoholics, and there was quite a lot of violence at home. So all I knew through my growing up, that parents, adults hurt each other when they're supposed to love. So we bring this old story, we bring the story of our parents into our own lives, where we actually recreate what we know, and we do it over and over again. So we're choosing people in our relationships to show us the way we know what love is. And what love is, according to the old story, in most people's lives, I don't want to say into everybody's lives, but in the most people's lives, is actually associated with pain, betrayal, some violence, and some things like that. So what happens here, when we bring that, we just constantly keep hiring people to prove us that, you know, that this is the way the relationship goes. Because what happens before 5 years old, our nervous system locks in the examples of relating, right? And actually this brings me to my next point, that number 2, that we form before 5 years old, we form our beliefs about men, women, how men and women interact, you know, what men and women want from us, how we can trust, because trust and feeling safe, it's some fundamental things right there that actually we make up our mind by. You know, like for example, I at 4 years old, my father forgot me in the kindergarten. So in that time, I have decided that I'm not important. So I have went all my life believing that I was not important. So I showed up as not being important in my relationships, at work, with friends, not being able to express myself or show my sexuality, sensuality, and express my love feelings to somebody, because I just didn't feel that it's important enough. Does this make sense so far? I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page. So if you can just like type yes in the chat box, if it does make sense, that would be fantastic. So yes, okay, beautiful, makes sense. Awesome. So I can see yes, makes sense. Awesome. So yes, so the belief systems that we create, and usually we create those beliefs at very young age, like 5 years old, something before 10, right? And like, let's be honest, now all of us, I would like to believe so, that who are here right now are quite much older than 5 to 10 years old, right? We are all adults here. We have got our businesses going, we have got our lives going, our relationships, but somewhere deep down, we, like most of us, still are operating on the old belief system that is like a software that you have installed super young. So unless you create a different belief system, you still will be operating on that old belief system. And you know, I really don't like to be saying this, but once you operating on this old belief system, you have no choice. You have no choice. Have you ever felt this way, that every time when you are in some certain situation, your body does a certain, this create a certain feeling or certain sensation, or you say certain things, or you feel a certain way? Like this used to happen to me all the time. When I would like somebody, like my body would go into a special state that actually didn't feel very good, because I was on edge. But I couldn't understand why every time I like somebody, my body feels on edge. But then when I started discovering more and more about love and intimacy and our self-expression, I have realized that, actually, what happens here, my nervous system locked that feeling, and every time I'm in familiar emotional situation and have familiar emotional response, my body as well as my mind reacts a certain way. So like I said just a moment ago, that what we do with this, we change our beliefs, right? We change our beliefs. And as we change our beliefs, we need to change our story. Because also, like lots of my clients, they just keep telling themselves so over and over their old story. All men are bad, or all women are bad. There is no good people out there. Like my mom, she keeps on saying the story, oh, but there is no good man out there. And I'm like, Mom, is this like really true? We live in a world with a population over 8 billion people. Do you really believe in this 8 billion people there are no good people out there? This is just like impossible, right? But here's again to tell you something. There is not everyone is going to resonate with you. Not everyone is going to resonate with your ways of being, to have your values and to have your understanding and perception of the world. Because, you know, we have only 3% of people who actually resonates with us. 3%. So when you're like struggling to meet or find somebody who is like feeling your vibes, you know, and understanding you, and like that you can like really jam with, is because there's only 3% of people who really gonna resonate with you. And I mean, you know, right now, all of you have stayed in this group, but there were like more people as I showed up, and some people have left. And it's nothing offensive towards myself, but some people just simply do not resonate with me or my message. And that's okay. And as soon as we adopt this understanding and ways of being in our dating life and in our relationships, the sooner we're gonna save ourselves some heartache, the sooner we're gonna save ourselves some, you know, misunderstandings and hurt. Because you know that most of the time when someone expresses something, or can give you something or cannot give you something, most of the time it's not about yourself, it's about their capacity of being able to provide something that you desire for you, right? And not every person just have got that capacity to give to you what you really want. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be having what you really want. It just means that maybe that's not the right person for you to expect that from in the first place. So you see that here's a little bit like a different perspective for you here to explore this a little bit more. And you know, while we have a few minutes left, I would love to take maybe a few questions and see, yeah, if you have got any questions. And also to make sure that this does make sense so far, right? So it's like we have discovered like 3 major things that, okay, 3 major things that are stopping us in our love, intimacy, and sensuality. Is the old story that we most of the time model from our parents and their ways of relating. Number 2 is beliefs, and the beliefs we are bringing with us in the space of relationships and about ourselves. And number 3 is creating a new story. So when you create a new story, you give the you give yourself the opportunity to create a new story that doesn't have to be like an old story, right? And this is what I'm helping my clients with on a daily basis. So if you would love to know more or connect with me, my name is Eugina O Liberty. I'm just gonna pop my name here in the chat box. You can also have my email address. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. I post a lot of content, like free content, especially on Facebook, and do lots of Facebook Lives. If you're interested in love, intimacy, sensuality, sexuality, I would absolutely love to connect with you, because these are my passions in the world, to create more love and connection, because I believe that, you know, that love, intimacy, and connection is the true currency in our world right now. So let me see, there is a question. People are lazy, Eugina. How will you make them create, especially a new story? The stories is not what makes us humans. And there are just a few that united us all. So I will tell you this, you know, people are lazy until they can tolerate what is going on. When you are experiencing the amount of pain that doesn't allow you to breathe, you start looking for solutions. So as long as you're tolerating whatever you're tolerating, the possibility that you're gonna like get off your ass and do something maybe is quite low. I don't know. But when you experience an unbearable pain that you want to stop it, like, trust me, you're gonna take anything what's in your possibilities that is available to you in your world right now to change that. So let's see, especially a new story. The stories is what makes us human. Is there just a few that united us all? So love is not a pain? Well, actually, in my opinion, love is not pain. Absence of love is pain. And in fact, absence of love hurting us so much that we create stories about that love is pain, and that, you know, falling in love is just putting yourself for like disaster or something like that. So it's all the stories, right? But again, you can tell yourself a new story. You can tell yourself a more empowered story. But again, we are looking for evidence. We are looking for evidence. This is how we operate. And once you have a belief that love is pain, you're going to be looking for evidence of that belief. But when you create a new belief and tell yourself love is beautiful and love is nurturing and love is awesome, this is where you are going to look for evidence of that belief. Let me see. Often culture plays a key role in how we experience sensuality. How to free us from cultural shackle. Tune in to yourself, to your honest and undeniable truth. Okay, because of course that there's cultural, I'm working with a woman from Saudi Arabia, and her experiences of sexuality and sensuality that is in a very, very restricted environment, right? So, and yet that there are ways to feel true to yourself and still be respectful towards, you know, what is going on around, being supportive, because again, love is not friction, love is flow. And it's like for you to actually understand what makes it flow for you, and just allow to express that and experience that in a way that it doesn't offend other people around you and doesn't limit yourself. So let me see. So what you're saying, wait until it gets to the space where you cannot tolerate it anymore, then you start changing. Gajik, you know, I'd say if you feel like you're tolerating, maybe this is something that you need to consider. How long are you going to be tolerating for? How long, like, what happens if you're just gonna keep tolerating? Is your life going to change? Is this the life that you desire? Is this life that is your best right now? And if the answer is no, then maybe that there is something for you to consider. I wouldn't say, like, my personal experience, I had to wait until it was unbearable anymore. And only then I created a really fast change in my life. But I also understand that it doesn't have to be this way. You know, now if I'm noticing that something doesn't really align with me or something doesn't feel good, I choose to change it. So the choice is yours, but it's like, but some aspects to consider. How long are you prepared to tolerate for? And while you're tolerating, are you living your best life? Are you like fulfilling yourself? And if not, why not? You know, why not? And what would happen if you would change things around? Like what, because usually change scares us, but it scares us to the point that it's like, we don't know. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be in a loving relationship. This is scary. I never felt loved, you know, so we get scared by things that we don't know. So this is something, this is not something like, when we don't know something, we naturally having fear towards that. So is it not that I'm not in agreement with you? No, I didn't think that you are not in agreement with me. I'm just like saying, you know, it's like most people, they don't do anything to change their situation for as long as they can tolerate. And yeah, but the choice is yours. You don't have to tolerate. Or when you're noticing that you're tolerating, you can actually ask yourself, what can you change right now? to live your best life, to feel the best that you possibly can, to be in the best connection with yourself that you possibly can, with yourself and with people around you. Does this answer your question? So I think that, okay, beautiful. I think that I would imagine so. I think so that somebody should be here maybe any minute. But like while somebody is like coming over, do you have any more questions? Do you have any more questions? And has this been useful so far? I'm just gonna post my okay, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. So I've just posted my Facebook. My name is Eugina O Liberty. My email address is eugina@euginaoliberty.com. If any of what I shared with you today have resonated with you and you would love to know more, please don't hesitate. I love connecting with people. I love answering questions. I love to talk about pleasure, intimacy, and sensuality, because I believe that this is what makes us human, that our sensuality and our sexuality is our birthright. And for sure, authentic connections that makes us feel good is very, very much cherished. So saying all that, I'm wishing you a fantastic rest of the morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, go out there and create the beautiful connections. Create beautiful connections, because those connections make the world go round. Those connections make us blossom. So lots of love to you all. Bye for now.